Hello, everybody. My name is Eve Knight. I am a reality creation enthusiast, energy healing practitioner, and fashion designer, among other things. And I'm setting the intention to change my life in the next 90 days, and I wanted to bring the collective along for the experience. I've been navigating an incredibly fortifying, yet not preferable timeline, and I'm really ready to experience something different. It's been a season of initiation and molding, primarily through contrast and chaos, while also being held really firmly and beautifully in community. I must mention that. Um, and the tension has really made me a powerful manifester because I know I can focus and manifest in any conditions. But in order to really beat this level of the game, I know I have to take everything that I've learned over the last 5, but really specifically last 2 years, and put all that shit into action. I don't know what's going to happen over the next 90 days. I'm really excited, but it is an experiment backed by the principles of the law of attraction, of course. But, we'll see. I just think it's time to put my money where my mouth is. All the things that I claim to believe, all the things that I claim to be about, it's time to kind of make that shift. So I'm going to take myself through a reality creation concept that I developed called the Conduit Method. The Conduit Method combines costume design, fashion design, energy healing, and reality creation all in one to really help us pinpoint the current reality we're experiencing and the character that's producing that reality, and then help us zone in on what we really want and how we can get there from where we are right now. I'm excited because I'll be introducing the concept. I've been piloting it on my friends, and I've kind of did a couple soft launches on it throughout the last couple years, but I wanted to do it on myself, and I wanted to do it in real time with real life fucking conditions. And I just wanted to share the Conduit Method freely, so there will be some tools that will be available to you all for free to kind of take yourself alongside me with the method, as we go. The most important part of the Conduit Method is not the clothing. And although we do end up with style guides and custom garments, if you work one-on-one with me, I'll end up with some custom garments in this series. Um, the clothing is just the conduit. The clothing is just the conduit. So it's really important that we work on ourselves internally and setting those intentions and embodying the principles of what we want. And then we can use clothing as a tool to help support us in that endeavor. It's the cherry on top. And it makes reality creation a little more fun. So what is the process of the conduit method? First, we're going to start at the intake consultation. At the intake consultation, we're trying to have you describe, what are you experiencing right now? What character are you playing? What feelings and perceptions of yourself are you using? Shout out to Peter Ferry and Bridges. And where do you prefer to be at? And how can we get you pointing in the direction of that so that we can start to shift your reality? The next part of the conduit method is the Reiki session. So the Reiki session is here to clear your energetic field first. It's going to do the clearing. We are interacting with so many people. We're watching so much stuff on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. All that shit stays with us until we take the time to clear it. You can clear it through meditation. You can clear it through breath work. Reiki is a way to clear that energy out of your field because it is making its impressions on us. It's influencing the way we think about things, you know? So we want to reset you to see if any of those feelings or perceptions that you were feeling before were just a result of your energy being, clunked up. It's kind of like sweeping before you mop. The other thing that the Reiki is going to do is, because you're going to get that supercharge, your energy set is going to be charged. You're going to be able to look at your situation from a bird's eye view a lot better. You're going to be able to see the trees for the forest, so that when you're setting your intentions for where you want to be next, you can really see clearly about how much you've already embodied of this reality and what you have left to go, and not as much from a judgmental perspective. So the Reiki is going to really put you in a more nimble, energized, clear, primed place to really get the most out of the conduit method. And then also during Reiki sessions, people usually get some kind of insights themselves, visions, and those things have meanings. Sometimes I'll see the same thing as a client saw, we'll talk about that. After we do the Reiki session, we're now doing the timeline jump. A timeline jump is a guided meditation that helps dissolve the current reality that you're currently experiencing and then ushers you to meet the next available version of yourself, which is we're setting the intention for it to be whatever this preferable timeline or as close to that as we can possibly get, that we have the spaciousness to embody, right? When we meet that person in the timeline, there's going to be a little bit of environment around them so we can kind of see how they live, what do they think, how do they move. And that kind of brings me to the next section, which is the senses survey. We want to gather as much information from this character that we meet in the timeline jump as possible. So during the senses survey, I'm going to be asking you, what sensations do you feel when you're around this character, when you merge with this character? Like, what do you smell, or what smells remind you of it? More that than what do you smell. But is there a smell, a scent that reminds you of what you're feeling? So I'm trying to help you find references in your body, in your memory, that make you think of the sensation that you're feeling when you're embodying this character, because that's going to help us create some anchors, and it's also going to help us create the garment. The next portion of the conduit method is the tarot. Okay, the tarot is just helping us get even more nitty gritty to the obstacles, the superpowers, the triggers, the things that you should be thinking about, the messages, even put some oracle cards in there, some things that you should be keeping in mind when anchoring into this character. We're just getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. By the end of all this, we filled out the entire character spec. For me, I've created a character spec for my client. And we have a lot of information. We built up our toolbox along the way for us to have a place to reference in those moments of tension, for us to have a place to reference in those moments of contrast, when we feel like, oh, the old shit is popping up. I am not anchored. I am not playing the character of this new timeline, which is a part of the process, right? You're not doing anything wrong. The tension is actually a gift. The contrast is actually a gift. So we want to bring you back to your character spec. That's where you want to come ground at after we've gotten all this information to help you really embody that character wholeheartedly. It's going to be your reference so that you can move through the tension more and more easily. And also that you can recognize that you're inside of tension or inside of contrast quicker than you usually do. So that's what the character spec kind of serves as. And from the character spec, we enter the next section, which is us developing either a kind of style guide, or if you're working one-on-one with me, the option of creating a custom garment for this particular character, for this particular timeline, to help you anchor and draw in even more. The process of creating the style guide and the conduit garment we're trying to take those sensations that we identified and translate those sensations onto a garment, right? So the first place we're going to start, the easiest, which is color. We're going to take color theory, the meanings of colors energetically and spiritually, and we're going to want to wear more colors than others while we're trying to anchor in and call in a certain energy, right? So that's the easiest one. The second is textures. Let's say if you're trying to bring in more flow, then we probably want linens. We probably want easy breezy fabrics, things that move and stretch, a little bit more. If you're looking for something like more structure, we're going to go for more structured silhouettes. We're looking at suits and sheath dresses and things that kind of, obviously you're going to be able to move, that's the quality of a good garment. You should still be able to move and do your thing, but the way it feels, there's something about, suits make you feel more like you're about to go do some work and get some work done. If it's a robe, if you're trying to, embody a little more relaxation and flow, maybe it's a cozy little robe for you. So we get to choose the silhouettes, which I've kind of moved into that a little bit. The silhouettes, the textures, the mood, the color that different garments remind you of, because it's not the same for everybody. Everybody doesn't look at a suit and think of and feel empowered. Some people might look at a suit and feel trapped. So we got to find something else that makes them feel structured, So there's all kind of ways with your unique perspective on life that we get to play with and bring out the energies through your wardrobe that reminds you of the sensation of the character that you experienced in your timeline. I really hope I'm making sense. So that's the conduit method in whole. It's a lot of parts, but they're all really important to me. And I'm going to be taking myself through this process. In the next video, y'all will be seeing my intake form. And then I encourage you to also fill out your own intake form on the Character Spec document. Just a reminder, the intake is just about getting a time capsule, a little bit of a snapshot of what are you experiencing right now? And what do you like about it? What don't you like about it? What do you prefer? That's such important information. So we're going to get all that information down next. Check out the next video. I really hope that y'all also do the conduit method alongside me. And let's see what happens in the next 90 days.